Sami Zayn is going to WrestleMania after all, and not just in any match. He's going to be trying to dethrone Gunther, the longest reigning and some say the greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time. I am over the moon, but not everybody shares my feelings. Welcome to SBS Wrestling on YouTube, the SBS Wrestling podcast from Silo Voice Studios in Montreal. I'm Jason C. McLean. Before we start, I think I should not only declare my biases, I should show you them. I'm wearing a Sami Zayn t-shirt. I'm also from Montreal, so yes, I'm a huge Sami Zayn supporter. We love our local guys. Now, I'm recording this on March 14th, Thursday, and this is just a few days after Monday Night Raw, where there was a gauntlet match to determine the number one contender who would face Gunther at WrestleMania. Sami Zayn was the fourth person in, and despite fasting for the first day of Ramadan, which they mentioned on commentary, and despite taking a cheap shot tsunami from Bronson Reed, he ended up beating Reed, Shinsuke Nakamura, and after an amazing match, Chad Gable. Now, Chad Gable was a lot of people's pick to win this. In fact, 6 months ago, Chad Gable was my pick to face Gunther at WrestleMania. He had a great story. He actually beat Gunther by countout one time. Apparently, he's even beaten by disqualification on a few house shows. And it really looked like he had a great story with Gunther, which they made apparent. At the time, though, I imagined Sami Zayn in a completely different picture, possibly the world title picture, because he is a world title sort of guy. But when it became apparent that Sami Zayn wasn't going to be competing for a world championship and might miss WrestleMania altogether, when this opportunity presented itself, I was happy that he took it. I was ecstatic. I would have been happy with Chad Gable versus Gunther, but I'm really happy that Zayn's going to WrestleMania. Of course, since the match ended, people online have been not too thrilled with it. In fact, some of them have even been posting the hashtag #WeWantGable. Now, I don't think that's going to work. But wait, We Want Cody worked. Reaction to Cody Rhodes giving away his main event at WrestleMania to The Rock led to the We Want Cody hashtag, which trended worldwide for a few days and ultimately led to Cody Rhodes getting his main event back. And in a surprising twist of fate, The Rock turning heel, which gave us some amazing promos that I don't think we would have had otherwise. Also gave us a night one main event that no one was expecting. I think we're really in the best timeline. But this isn't the same thing, because in addition to having a great story, Cody also won the Royal Rumble, meaning taking that event away from him makes no sense storyline-wise. It's not consistent. And WWE these days under Triple H has all been about being consistent. Sami Zayn won the gauntlet match, so taking his main event away from him and giving it to, say, Chad Gable would also be inconsistent. Same thing with taking away Becky Lynch's main event and giving it to Liv Morgan, because Becky legitimately won the Elimination Chamber. There is another thing to think about, though. The pin itself. As the We Want Chad hashtag clearly wasn't catching on, I also saw people posting a screen grab of the pin itself, showing Chad Gable's shoulders not completely on the mat. Now, we all know that WWE doesn't go to instant replay for anything. Just ask anyone who's ever faced Roman Reigns, unless, of course, the storyline requires it. Now, maybe this was an accident, or maybe they did it on purpose to give themselves an out. It's pretty much the only thing that could turn this into a triple threat match. If they do turn it into a triple threat match, I'm not opposed, because a triple threat match with Gunther, Sami, and Chad would be a total banger, just as one-on-one Sami and Gunther, just as one-on-one Gunther and Chad. The only thing is, when it comes to Gunther, there's only two reasons to do a triple threat match. One, to make him look super strong, but they already did that last year when he beat both Drew and Sheamus. Or two, to keep him strong, but take the title off him so he can challenge for the world title right away. Now, Gunther is one champion who doesn't need that. I think him taking a pin and losing the title still allows him to be right out of the gate challenging for the world title. He's that dominant a champion. Nobody cares that he got pinned once in a few years. Which means, though, that if either Gable or Sami would pin him and take the title from him, the victory wouldn't be as strong because they didn't beat Gunther. If Gable just beats Sami, that's not the same as him, finishing his story, which started 6 months ago. If Sami beat Gable, well, he's already been Intercontinental Champion. It's more about beating Gunther. A lot of people upset with Sami facing Gunther for the IC title would rather him included in the World Heavyweight Championship match instead. Seth freaking Rollins is defending the World Heavyweight Championship against Drew McIntyre in a singles match, and what people want to do is make it a triple threat, including Sami Zayn. Now, I'll admit, I had fantasy booked this exact triple threat match right after I heard CM Punk was injured and wouldn't be able to compete in Mania. My scenario had either Sami winning at Mania or losing to Drew, but then on the Raw a week after Mania, April 15th, Sami wins it back. Why there? Because it's in Montreal and I have tickets. But beyond my personal interest, this would be a nice payback for Sami losing in Montreal to Roman Reigns at Elimination Chamber, which was arguably one of the best matches of 2023. And of course, as we all know with WWE, only what happens on TV counts. So the few times Sami came back for a house show, don't. But currently, though, with how things have been progressing, I don't think that would work. Yes, Sami and Drew do have major heat with each other. Sami has no heat with Seth. And I think Seth and Drew makes for the better match because that's the story they've been developing. Also, Sami did try to get into the World Heavyweight title match. He tried to get into Elimination Chamber, but he didn't. I was devastated when I found out his opponent was Randy Orton, let alone when he lost. But he tried, and he didn't make it. As the good babyface that he is, it wouldn't make sense for him to try and shoehorn himself into this match. But what people say, though, is that Sami's now a main eventer. He's now in the World Heavyweight Championship picture, and the Intercontinental title is beneath him. He's already held the belt 3 times. Yes, he's a 3-time Intercontinental Champion. And yes, under any other champion, challenging for that would be something that would be beneath Sami Zayn. But not with the current champion. Dethroning Gunther is not a mid-card victory. On Monday, Michael Cole mentioned that Gunther has been Intercontinental Champion for 640 days. In that time, he's beat Drew McIntyre, Sheamus, The Miz, a number of other competitors. People were even fantasy booking Brock Lesnar against Gunther. Now, regardless of what you think of Brock personally these days, one thing we can all agree on is he's not a mid-carder. In fact, a match against Gunther at WrestleMania has the potential of being the match of the night, if not match of the year. That's what Sami Zayn's getting into. That's definitely not beneath him. In fact, that's not beneath most people on the card, not even Cody Rhodes. Maybe it's beneath like Roman Reigns or something like that, or The Rock, but that's an ego thing. So this is definitely a huge match, and this is definitely, if Sami beats Gunther, he'll be beating one of the longest reigning champions in the company. After having failed to beat Roman, another long reigning champion, this would be a huge career accomplishment. But what about the story? If the match card graphic doesn't get you excited for this championship match, these two competitors certainly will. Gunther versus Sami Zayn already has a built-in story. It's Sami's story. Over the past few months, actually, they've been showing Sami as the guy trying to do something great at WrestleMania, trying to find his way, trying to find his path. And what's something great? Challenging and hopefully defeating Gunther, the longest reigning Intercontinental Champion in history, and some say the greatest Intercontinental Champion. Also, Sami is great at fighting from behind, a real David versus Goliath. And you know who's great at being a Goliath? Fighting someone who's fighting from behind and dominating? Gunther. There's a story right there. Now, real world here, Booker T on his podcast apparently said that Sami Zayn was very upset by the reaction to his victory from some of the people online, thinking the fans loved him, and does this mean the fans don't love him? That's a real response from Sami. People started today, actually, on Thursday, I saw a lot of pro Sami or we love Sami Zayn appreciation posts trying to say that, no, it's not about you. It's just that we wanted Chad Gable, this and that. But somebody who chimed in and actually really got the ball rolling on this story was the ring general, Gunther. I'm not going to do a Gunther impression here, but quote, "I do not believe Sami Zayn has what it takes to be in my position. It is unrealistic. Good luck, Sami. Now throw in an incredible Sami Zayn promo, or maybe two of them. Gunther acting like a bully, the obligatory matches against Ludwig Kaiser and Giovanni Vinci. Anybody facing Gunther is going to have to do that first, where Sami, of course, wins. And we have ourselves a story. And it's a great one. And this is potentially going to be one of the best matches of the night on a WrestleMania, where we have Cody versus Roman, Cody and Seth versus Rock, Bayley versus Io, Rhea versus Becky. I think this match can really shine, and I'm very excited for it. But what about Chad Gable? Well, he's not completely out of WrestleMania. He could take Tozawa's place, team with Otis, get entered in the six-pack ladder match challenge for the tag team championships, put on an amazing show there. And then after Mania, if Gunther retains, continue to go after Gunther. Or if Sami wins, go heel and challenge Sami for stealing his WrestleMania moment. There's a lot you can do with Chad Gable. I think the main thing we have to think about is that we're no longer dealing with the booking of some deranged tyrant who books matches out of spite for the audience. That's not the case. Triple H, I think, is doing his best, and I think he's really doing a good job, and I think he knows what he's doing. I didn't see this Intercontinental title match for Sami on the horizon, but now that it's here, I think this could be really good. I think we should maybe just trust in what's happening. Yes, he kind of botched it with The Rock and Cody Rhodes, but that turned into something even better. I think Sami versus Gunther could very well be the match of WrestleMania. And that's why I'm very happy. Let me know what you think in the comments. Follow at Silo Wrestling on X or Twitter. Follow at SBS Reviews on Instagram and Facebook. Follow me at Jason C. McLean on X and Instagram. Like, share, subscribe, and check back next time where hopefully I might actually talk about SmackDown. I mean, I've been kind of ignoring The Rock and Roman Reigns and all that. I think I do want some traffic, so I might start talking about that. See you next time.